it's all over the place, but this is the first domino to fall on a fantastic weekend in the Big Ten. A bunch of different scenarios that we will break down throughout the night and the weekend here on Big Ten Network. Cardin Stoller, one of the best goalies in the country this year, one of 4 goalies in the Tewaaraton top 25 list. Brian Breck said, we ride his momentum when he is hot. Our defense is great. And in the cage on the other side, Jack Frassian responded well the last couple of weeks after struggling most of March. Save percentage over 50% in wins over Michigan. And Johns Hopkins for Penn State up to number 7 in the country. Senior day for them at Panzer Stadium. Mitchell, it is going to be a highly charged, emotional night for the Nittany Lions.
It definitely is. Senior night, you said it. It's a packed house here in Panzer Field. And it all starts with the defense, I think, for both teams. The guys in cage are elite. If the defense can back up the guy in cage, success is going to be thrown around. But Penn State, they have a big matchup here.
Frassian flips it ahead, ball down, and scooped up by Ryan O'Connor. The pole sends it long, and early mistake for Penn State as we check out the Rutgers starting lineup.
A little sloppy here in the beginning. Obviously the nerves, a big game, senior night, a lot of factors. I know we'll hit on it today, but the winner of this game, loser of this game, a lot of stuff happens in the Big Ten tournament.
I mean, think about the swing for Penn State here. If they lose, they're guaranteed to be the 5 seed as the ball's given right back to Penn State. That is a drastic change from at least hosting a first-round game, maybe a bye, to having to go on the road.
Having played in the Big Ten myself, this is it every year. It's always wide open. Big Ten play, records get thrown out, skills get thrown out. Who comes ready to play when it's game time? And obviously these two teams know this best, and Matt Traynor knows it better than anyone.
Coming off 7 goals, experienced, gritty, had to fight through injury this year, but hitting his stride at the right time. Here's Traynor. Dodge up top. And off the spin cycle feeds Jack Amon, the Rutgers transfer, who lost it. Traynor goes low, and it goes wide. Going to be interesting to see how Jack Amon performs tonight against his old team.
Jack spending 4 years at Rutgers, taking his 5th year at Penn State. In-conference transfer. We talked to Tambroni. He hasn't remembered the last time, if ever, they've taken an in-conference transfer. And if this game was at Rutgers, I think Jack would feel it a little bit more. But it's obviously a stressful game for him playing his alma mater.
Yeah, a little bit more comfortable at home, but it's a harsh world between the lines either way.
Definitely.
Rutgers settles into their first real offensive possession here. It's a lower scoring team. Rutgers last in the Big Ten at just over 9 goals a game. A very young offensive group. But keep your eyes out for 88 in black, Colin Cardillo. Coming downhill, and Frassian got a deflection over the end line. The shot from Colin Kelly, the talented graduate student, transfer from Canisius, hitting his stride at the right time with 14 goals this year. Out of X feed right in front of the cage, Frassian the save.
That's going to have to be all night for
dialed
Penn
in,
State.
Mitchell.
That's going to have to be all night for Penn State. Jack playing great, the defense settling in, and we saw the ball kind of go all over the turf, but that's what Penn State's going to have to need.
Frassian will be the first one to admit he wasn't playing his best, the 2-time All-American. But in Penn State's 2 wins, he's been really strong. And in this matchup against Rutgers, over the last 3, all Penn State wins, Frassian's made 16 saves a game. Here's the sophomore Ryan DeRocco. From behind the cage, looking for the turn. Up top, Traynor, he can shoot from anywhere. Penn State patient. Lehman, he's got great quickness. And the shot clock approaching 20. DeRocco to his left. DeRocco, great pass, and the finish. Luke Wallstrom sends it in. The sequence started by DeRocco, and Penn State on the board.
DeRocco starting the party for Penn State this evening. We're going to see this all throughout the game. A guy that can do it versus shorty and to pull. If you're Penn State, you want to attack the shorties, and that's what DeRocco did here. A little right to left split, and the biggest key is he dodges with his heads up. sees Wallstrom backside, catches it, fumbles a little bit, but puts it in the back of the net, and Penn State goes up 1.
And how about the balance from Wallstrom, too? Right there on the edge of the crease, able to stay just outside. Face-off win, Colby Baldwin on the attack and scores! In a flash, Baldwin makes it 2-0.
Baldwin, an electric season, above 50%, coming down right down High Street and putting the ball in the back of the net. Momentum is on Penn State's side as we speak, and this is what you want. A little in and out, faking it to the point guy, putting the opposite hand and caning it off stick side and getting love from his offensive players. That's what you want to see.
You can hear the crowd. This Panzer Stadium bunch is fired up, and Penn State's delivered early. 6 seconds to go up 2. Baldwin swipes it back. O'Connor going for it and scooped up by Rutgers. Joe Youngerkiss got to it and a pull goal. What a response. Ryan Spillane, the long stick mini, answers for the Scarlet Knights.
This is what you like right here. Gritty Big Ten play, back and forth, back and forth. Ryan catching it, coming right down, sees he has an opening and puts that thing low. All long stick players like to shoot the ball low. As a long pull and a goalie, you don't know where that thing's going. Dropping your hips, putting that thing low, Frasian had no idea.
Brian Breck said, find me a better long stick midi in the nation right now when he was talking about Ryan Spillane. I don't know if he was expecting to get goals like that from him, but it's just the cherry on top.
If I'm Breck, I'm taking it any day.
We'll take that from Matthew Palazzo, the transfer from Union College, Division III in New York. He's 10th in the country in face-off win percentage. This is going to be a fun battle between him and Baldwin tonight.
Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. I think the specialties, the goalie, and the face-off. Who's ever playing best is really going to defend who wins this game.
You settled in. We're not 5 minutes in. We've got 3 goals here. A flurry from both teams. Here's Duke Richmond, the second. Fastest player on this Rutgers team. And Rutgers, young in the offensive side, led by Cardillo with 20 goals. Graduating some great offensive players like Ross Scott and Shane Knobloch, both going to the PLL. Richmond.
A little bit of a younger team this year, obviously with Shane and Ross graduating, and especially, you know, look at a guy like Cardillo, right, leading the team in points as a sophomore.
A fancy flip into a great chance and going off the pipe. The shot from Logan Peters, but right to Richmond. Some fireworks for both teams early. Got the shot clock reset going off the pipe. And under 50 seconds now, quick turning shot. And Frasian was ready for it from Shane Murphy. Sweet feed from the freshman, J.J.
Behind the back, and a little ankle breaker. If that goes in, are we thinking SC top 10?
I'm thinking it. And both teams just trying to settle in at this point.
If I'm Tambroni, if I'm Breck, I'm saying get shots on cage. With both of these goalies in the Tourton conversation, we have 3 Big Ten goalies out of 4 in the Tourton conversation. If I'm the offense coordinator, if I'm the head coach of these teams, I'm saying put pucks on net.
Here's Lehman dancing outside. You look at goalie play across the Big Ten, it's just absurd. So you got to put a bunch of snow on the roof until it caves in, as Kevin Connery likes to say. As that pass in front of the cage got loose, and here comes Rutgers. This is where they thrive, early and transition offense. And the Scarlet Knights into the offensive end. Youngerkiss goes wide of Frasian, not able to dive far enough with Cardillo on the backup.
You called it there. Rutgers thrives and hectic chaos is what I used to call it. Transition, balls are bouncing all over the gym. That's what they like. They want you to play in that atmosphere.
Brian Breck knows this. The strength of his team, 14th season. Feels like his team has made steady progress throughout the year. Was really disappointed in the loss to Michigan last week. There's contact in front of the crease, and Penn State takes over. But Rutgers coming off that 8-6 loss to Michigan. Oh, a loose ball here. Chance for Cardilla. Penn State trying to recover. Straight away on the doorstep, and it's in. Flags come out as well as Murphy went down and seemingly scored the tying goal.
Ride backs, one of the things coaches love, and I know Breck loves the most, getting the ball back in their end, getting it to a defenseman, throwing it inside, and obviously Shane puts it in the back of the cage. And as you see here, it's the little things, and the ball's already been bouncing all over the gym.
Do you think Kevin Parnham lost it there on the pass across the field? He seemed a little shocked by it. And here's one more look at the goal from Murphy, who was clearly shoved in the back by Mac Hobbs, so the goal will stand.
And I think an aspect that teams definitely know about, but the fans don't, is playing at 6 o'clock, you see the sun. The sun's in your eyes, the sun's going down, and that could have been a factor.
So how about the answer for Rutgers? Penn State, senior day at home, go up 2-0 in 6 seconds, and Rutgers scrapping back.
Coming right back, Shane Murphy.
It's been their MO all season. 2-2 in the Big Ten, another face-off win with the ball going to Spillane. An upset win over Maryland when everyone was counting Rutgers out this season after a shaky non-conference. They've been a pest this year.
You look at the on-conference play out of Rutgers, nothing great. Nothing really great. I mean, using the UMass and a couple other teams and getting into Big Ten Conference, that's where they shine. The grittiness of Rutgers in that New Jersey weather, they got the air horn back home when they score. I love it. I'm a big fan, and obviously they've shown that in conference play.
Penn State's defense stifling here. Hayden Summers straight away, the redshirt freshman. 9 assists in his last 6 games. Part of a very young offensive team, more experience on the defensive end for Rutgers. Top 10 in the country in goals allowed this year because of that experience. As a bouncer goes wide to Frassi.
Hayden Summers is a guy we will be talking about for a while. He is definitely a key player for this team, and as a redshirt freshman, as you mentioned, this is a guy that can potentially be a quarterback next year, even as a junior.
A lot of promise with Summer and these young offensive pieces that Rutgers is going to get back to some of the offensive success that they've had in previous years. And there's a giveaway. And now the flag flies in. Rutgers went over and back, and we know Penn State is taking over here.
If you're a team, these are the little things, right? These are the little things that add up in the end of the day, and you could tell Brecht is not happy with this one coming in the middle of the first.
There's Jeff Tambroni. We know he was reading something for an hour this morning to clear his mind about some topic, whether it's the military, real estate. It's just something he likes to do the morning of game day to get his mind off lacrosse. Man up chance here for Penn State after the 30-second penalty. Long, great catch. Straight away, Amon from deep. Against his old squad, Jack Amon gives Penn State the lead.
You know, Jack wanted that one bad. Looking at his former teammates, Dagger, he's hyped up on the bench. His boys are giving it to him. There's nothing better than laying it to your old teammates, right? Giving it to Jack. In the step down, we saw this at Rutgers and Piscataway time and time again. Look, the Penn State across his chest, coming in, catching, releasing it, putting it low on Stoller. That's what we've seen time and time again.
They call him Big Justice, bringing the boom.
Big Justice. Maybe give him a Costco chicken bake.
But Jeff Tambroni was curious how he would handle tonight. He said, look, it's easy to say you forget about your old team, but that is a difficult thing to compartmentalize, facing teammates that you built relationships with for 4 years.
Like you mentioned, we talked to Jeff, and the biggest thing he said, he's like, yeah, I've checked in with Jack here and there, but at the end of the day, he has to figure it out for himself.
And as a fifth-year senior, mature enough to handle that type of emotion, which you saw pour out after the goal. Offensive start here, you would have to think that favors Penn State tonight.
Definitely. I mean, that's a juice goal in my opinion. Jack wants him all day, and so does Lehman right there.
Kyle Lehman gets in on the fun. His 15th goal makes it 4-2 Nittany Lions. We've had goals in all kinds of situations to start tonight. Kyle Lehman with the latest. Penn State, if they lose, they drop to a 5 seed. It's senior day. There's a ton on the line of the regular season finale for the Nittany Lions.
Guy.
My palate's rather plain. 4-2 Penn State to start. And Kobe Baldwin, a goal for him already, and wins the face-off for Penn State. Jack Kaiser, Mitchell Pelkey, glad to have you with us. We've learned that Mitchell enjoys cookies and cream, and that Penn State came to play tonight.
Penn State's here. It's senior night. We didn't expect anything different. And a long pole goal.
We've against the 10-man ride. We've seen goals scored in just about every way so far tonight. Would not have been shocking to see that one go in.
Stoller, I think, leads potentially the nation, definitely the conference, with 2 goals this season.
Yep, Rutgers goalie Carden Stoller with 2 of them. Had one against Maryland as the game sealer. That was deflected out by Rutgers. And Tommy Mendyke, the captain, it'll stay with Penn State. Here comes Traynor, physically going towards the cage. And out of bounds, staying with the Nittany Lions again. Stoller really stepping up his game this year, coming off 14 saves against Michigan, but in an 8-6 loss to drop Rutgers to 2-2 in the league. Lehman on the doorstep and goes behind the crease. Mitchell, there is so much balance for this Penn State offense.
So much balance, and the interesting aspect is Breckton Rutgers putting a shorty on Kyle Lehman. That's an interesting choice. This is one of the shiftiest guys on the team.
And going against the shorty, Amon had it scooped up by Stoller. Transition for Rutgers. Spillane behind the back. Coolers the catch. And Rutgers settles in as Penn State recovers.
Any chance Rutgers has in transition, it's go time for them. As I mentioned earlier in the show, they love the transition and sort of this organized chaos, you would call it.
Jeff Tambroni talked about being buttoned up in all of the small details. Wings, subbing, clearing, because that's where Rutgers will take advantage of you. Ball down. A whistle. It'll stay with Rutgers. And a shot clock reset to 60. Cardilla curling. Oh, he had his stick whacked away by a mile. What a check.
What a check is right. Cardilla definitely doesn't like that. As the team's leading scorer, he has to produce. This has to be a mandatory thing for Colin.
Rutgers scrapping back once again, though. And a pole flip ahead. J.J. Aiello straight away. And a score for Rutgers. It's Cardilla. Every time it looks like Penn State's starting to maybe pull away here in the first quarter, Rutgers has had an answer.
Rutgers, they're like, the cockroaches that always stick around, right? And obviously we see that here. Coming down a little fast break, as I mentioned earlier, they love the transition. They give it to Colin, their team's leading scorer, and he puts it. Coffee can, bottom of the net, bingo for Colin Cardilla.
Coffee can tally number 1 of the night for Mitchell. And tally number 1 for Cardilla tonight as well, his 21st of the year. Ground ball 1, and picked up by Will Costin behind Baldwin, but a turnover. Here comes Rutgers again. Younger Kiss scanning. Aiello steps in. It was blocked. Never even got to Frassian. And slowly rolling, it was kicked. Going to Penn State. This game has been hectic.
Very sloppy start. All over the place. Seen that beginning of the game, now really throughout the whole first quarter with both teams. Throwing balls overhead, sloppy play. The transition/clearing game has really been a mess for both teams. Which team is really going to settle in?
And we talked about just offensive game in general favoring Penn State, but feels like a sloppier game favors Rutgers, especially on the road.
Definitely. Rutgers loves that organized chaos, as we mentioned. They love the transition play, and we're definitely going to see much more of that.
Again, seeding scenarios all over the place. Final weekend of the regular season of the Big Ten. Big Ten tournament starting with the quarterfinals next weekend. Rutgers with the win could be the 3 seed. Penn State with a win could be 2 through 4. Yet another turnover, at least it seems like it, as Rutgers has been physical defensively. And there's Younger Kiss again. Ground ball machine to start, and flipping ahead to Ben McKelvey.
Looks like Rutgers decides to settle it here. I mean, on paper, you look at Rutgers' schedule, not flashy, not great, but what they've done in conference play is really interesting. I don't think anyone thought they would do this before conference play started.
What's been the most surprising thing about Rutgers to you this year?
I think the fact that they're just putting it on different teams.
Here's Cardilla and Frassian Bennett. That Maryland game especially, massive surprise.
Massive surprise, and just with the record out of conference to come in and to put these close of matchups. Obviously, we saw the Michigan-Rutgers game last week. It's so interesting to see what this team could do. And shout out to Brian Breck for making his team really get after and onto it on the second half of the season.
A reminder, he had this team in the Final Four just 3 years ago. So it's not like Rutgers is a program that's really struggled for a long time, just the last couple of years. Flip in front of the cage, and Lehman converts. Lehman's second, and Penn State retakes a 2-goal lead. Five in the first quarter.
The Hunter Aquino coming down freshman, as we talked about, reading defenders on his back, and then you have Kyle Lehman across the crease catching it, finishing low, not getting too fancy. He knows he has to get the ball out quick. 5-hole, mom keeps the cookies. You gotta love that, and Penn State's up.
That was Aquino's 17th assist. Second in the Big Ten in assists this year, and Lehman's second goal has Penn State rocking and rolling. Here comes Baldwin again. Scored on that exact situation earlier in the first quarter.
Baldwin, juice goal guy, in my opinion. Getting party started, mentality, momentum on their side. It's been exciting to watch him this whole year.
Now 3 goals, chance to score again, and Trainer does it again. Money Matt makes it 6-3.
Money Matt has been a player to watch in years. Him and Ethan Long, best buddies, live in the same lax house together, and we see it here. The right to right, down the alley, absolutely murders that corner, and that's what we want to see out of Matt Trainer. And potentially going to be Big Ten Player of the Year. We'll obviously see those awards come out here very soon, but Matt Trainer, a household name up in Happy Valley.
And what impresses Jeff Tambroni about him the most, coming off a 7-goal game, you would never know if he has 10 goals or he's 0 for 20. Body language always the same.
I was in Happy Valley 2 years ago making a documentary about this team, and man, there's something special about Matt Trainer in that team. Everyone's selfless. The guys on that team love rocking the We Are, and for Tambroni, it's all what they represent.
A tight group, no doubt, and what a first quarter. Back and forth, but Penn State, the last couple of punches, with 6 goals in the first on senior day. They don't want to go on the road in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Strong start.
The DQ Freezer is opening again for our 85th birthday to bring back our most wished-for Blizzard flavor. It's the Confetti Cake Blizzard Treat, filled with confetti cake pieces and confetti frosting. Don't be late to the party. Grab yours before the DQ Freezer closes.
Saturday, the Wolverines
She shoots and she scores!
battle the Scarlet Knights
What a move! What a finish!
in the regular season finale. Women's lacrosse, Saturday at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on the Big Ten Network.
When I was a little girl, that ball and me were just glued. I used to gather up as many soccer balls as I could, and I would shoot for hours upon hours. There was just a dedication and a passion that I had. I wanted to become the best player in the world, and that meant being the best version of myself, because if I was the best version of myself, then ultimately that would help the team. I looked at everything I wasn't good at, and I just worked at it. I sacrificed and dedicated myself for literally every second of my life. And 10, 15 years later, I was named the best player in the world. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the work ethic to be able to push through and become better, you're never gonna make it to the top. I'm Carly Lloyd, World Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, and Rutgers graduate.
Gorgeous day in State College. Low 70s, got the sunshine out for senior day. Penn State coming off 2 straight wins and against one of the best defenses in the country. Penn State dropped 6 goals in the first quarter. It was back and forth for a little bit, but Penn State with the last 2 goals of the quarter, and Trainer had the last. Matt Trainer did. As we check out our State Farm State of Success, looking at Matt Trainer, 29 goals coming into the game for Mr. Trainer. Leading the Big Ten in points per game, nearly 5. First in goals per game, over 3. He's done everything for Penn State during this 2-game winning streak, including 7 goals this past week. Battled through injuries this year and playing the best lacrosse of his career right now, Mitchell.
Definitely. 7 goals last week, a part of the 100-plus club at Penn State. Only 10 players to be in that club. It says something special. Obviously, you're there with the greats like Mac O'Keefe, Grant, and Matt. Matt Trainer is special for this team and is going to make a long run into the tournament and obviously into Big Ten play.
Yeah, right up there with guys like you mentioned, O'Keefe, Amen, TJ Malone from last season. Matt Trainer has cemented himself in Penn State lore already. And now he's looking for a Big Ten tournament championship and perhaps another run to the Final Four, trying to get Penn State back there for the first time in a couple of years. And Rutgers trying to get back in this game because Penn State looks unstoppable on the offensive end right now.
They looked unstoppable, and we talked to Coach Tambroni yesterday about this team. He said the difference between this senior class to last year is just they're a lot younger. You know, you got guys like Posey and TJ Malone that were 24, 25. Now the leaders on this team are 22, 23, and Frassione takes a shot down the middle, and it's good.
Against the 10-man ride, Jack Frassione goes full field.
There's nothing better than when your goalie scores. As an offensive player, defensive player, Jack sees it, pulls up, bang time, one bounce, and it's in the back of the net. And you gotta love it. The best part about this goal, the whole entire team is celebrating. You see Trainer, you see Lehman, all going down at the end of the field to celebrate. We call that 10 helmets. You gotta love that in Happy Valley.
How about the first goal of the season on senior day for Jack Frassione? Something he's never going to forget. Penn State can't do anything wrong, and they just got another turnover. Dodge for Kyle Aldrich. On the attack, Lehman already with 2 goals, and Penn State settles in. Rutgers looks out of sorts right now.
They do, and we know we keep harping on it, but the aspect of they got to get the ball on their side and settle it. It's too back and forth. The play has been so sloppy from both sides, but you can obviously see Penn State's rattling in here and putting the ball in the back of the net.
They have a chance to seal this game in the first half. They're on their way right now. Hunter Aquino makes it 8 and 2 goals in the opening minute 30 of the second quarter.
Hunter Aquino, potentially the best freshman in Big Ten lacrosse. He's actually going to win that freshman of the year. And we see it here. Very calm, very steady, right to left. Fakes off the slide and then pings it. Another coffee can to that lower right. And the biggest play, if you're a young lacrosse player out there, watch how he fakes it. It makes the slide hesitate, keeps sweeping, bottom, coffee can, bingo.
So after the first goalie goal for Penn State since 2008, obviously the first of the career for Jack Frassian, Hunter Aquino has his 15th of the season. Perhaps the best freshman in the country.
Yes. You know, we talked to Tambroni about this. Tambroni used to be at Cornell, coaching Pennell and some of these other guys. He said Aquino is up there with some of the legends he's coached in the past.
He said he's got like a street basketball style to him, that athlete IQ where he's very aware of how he moves and how to get himself into good positions like he just did on that last shot.
You see a guy like Aquino dodging, and it doesn't look like he's doing much. He kind of reminds me of a Pat Spencer. Shifty, but from outside looking in, just a regular player, but knows how to get away from his defender and ultimately draw slides.
Oh, Frassian might have bounced off his ankle, and it'll stay with Rutgers. That type of shiftiness for Aquino make you jealous?
I was a shifty guy, I'll be honest. The shot, that's what makes me jealous.
Okay. Former Buckeye attackman Mitchell Pelkey, Jack Kaiser, glad to have you with us. First of 2 tonight on Big Ten Network, Hopkins and Maryland to follow. And that shot goes wide of Frassian in the cage. And Michigan, Ohio State tomorrow to wrap up the regular season of the Big Ten, and that one will be for a Big Ten regular season championship. A lot of time left for Rutgers, but they got to get moving. On the doorstep, and goes off the pipe, out of bounds on the shot from Colin Zeller, the redshirt freshman out of the Haverford School in the Philly area. Frassian with the pencil stance, might have gotten a piece of him as well. Shot clock reset for Rutgers. Zeller ready to set the pick. Good communication there from Penn State. Murphy setting the pick this time, and nobody home on the pass from Zeller. Rolling out of bounds back to Penn State. And the Nittany Lions wasting no time. John King up top. And right into the lap of Carden Stoller. Rutgers trying to strike quick with the cut from Younger Kiss, and Cardilla will calm it down.
I don't know if that's the shot you want from Penn State. Coming off a long possession, to really force it like that to give Rutgers the ball back, I don't know if that was the smartest play.
When you were in those situations where you were up big early in a game, was that difficult on the offensive side for you?
It was definitely. There was no position to force it, right? It's still the first quarter and everything, but at the end of the day, you don't want to force those big matchups. Let's get the ball around the horn and let's play some offense.
We'll see how patient Penn State is here. After Brendan Leary was able to scoop it up, the sophomore out of Villanova, Pennsylvania. With a 5-goal lead, Penn State all the momentum. I'm sure Jeff Tambroni wants to see his offense grind a little bit at this point.
Definitely. They want to play deep into the shot clock. They want to do what they're doing right now, dodge on these shorties.
Oh, nearly capitalized with Mac Hobbs coming downhill. Again, Penn State going for its third straight win. After a 10-4 win over Hopkins, Lehman, the bouncer was stopped by Stoller, but Lehman got it back.
Lehman's been a big part of this offense. A guy that was a little bit injured last year in the fall, came onto the scene, had a pretty good freshman year, and has now been a really key distributor for Penn State.
And the save from Stoller. Yeah, Lehman will log more yards in practice than any Penn State player, no pun intended, by a mile, according to Jeff Tambroni.
Kyle's a special player. He's one of those, if I'm a coach, you can put him anywhere. You can facilitate him out of the box to go behind the net. You can start him as a regular attackman, and pairs really well with Matt Traynor and his success this year.
And a timeout for Rutgers. Trailing 8-3, Brian Brecht sensing the urgency. Down 5 early, on the road, needing something to go their way. And the Fox Sports app. Loads of great lacrosse matchups throughout the weekend. Game of runs so far, and Penn State with the latest and most extended run, 6-1, since we were knotted at 2.
And see what's interesting here, Penn State comes out in the zone, which just got added in there. We haven't seen this at all this game.
Interesting considering Rutgers has largely struggled on the offensive end so far against Penn State's man-to-man.
And it shows you what type of coach Tambroni is, to never get comfortable where you are.
Change it up before they can figure it out.
And Rutgers did not expect this out. This was the last thing they were thinking about. Brecht probably drew up a play with them going man, and now they're in zone, and it totally throws off what they're doing.
And approaching 10 seconds here, very late in the shot clock after the timeout.
And they go right back into man. See, look at that.
A late switch with 5. A late shot, and nothing was going, that offensive possession. That was beautiful from Penn State.
That is the work of Coach Bucci in that defense. It's exciting to see what they can do, and to do stuff like that is so interesting. And another goal!
He did it again! 10-man ride does not pay off for Rutgers. 9-3 Nittany Lions.
He sees it, launches it, bingo. You gotta love that. 10-man ride, you know it's go time if you get the ball and there's no goalie in net. Sees it, it's go time. And you see Stoller, that's his second today?
As Brendan Leary with the goal. Frassian had one earlier, but 2 from behind midfield. And Leary with his 3rd of the season and 2nd in the last 3 weeks.
If I'm Brecht right now, I think we're boshing the 10-man ride. I think it's too much of a hazard for this team right now. That's 2 goals within the first 2 quarters of this game.
Penn State has just seemed one step ahead every step of the way. And even Rutgers' early goals were off some sloppy play from Penn State.
This has definitely been one of the sloppier games we've seen. But 17 shots out of both teams have been good. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, shots need to be put on net in this game.
And Penn State has just capitalized more often. Spin for Aquino. Straight away. And it was swatted out of the stick of Liam Matthews. Here comes Rutgers. That is a great catch, but pounded out of the stick of Spillane by Amon. Old teammates going head-to-head, and Amon wins the battle.
This is that chippy Big Ten lacrosse we always talk about. Penn State's going to settle up here to go deep into the shot clock. They're up by 6. There's no need to force it. Let's play deep. Let's get our offensive guys on. Let's dodge some shorties, and let's put the ball back into the net.
Here's Peden behind the cage. Got a shorty on him. Peden up top. Why not? From Pittsburgh, Ethan Long scores.
You gotta love that. Fun fact, both of those guys live together. Will Pete and Ethan Long dodging the shorty, coming up, throwing it to Ethan, and he cans it. You gotta love this. The little shake, right to right, dodging with his head up, sees the slide. Ethan catches it, and it's go time. The step in, the low to low. That area for Stoller has been a hazard this whole entire game, and Tambrody with a smile on his face.
How could you not smile if you're Jeff Tambroni or any Penn State fan? They've got 10 goals, and there's over 6 minutes left in the first half.
This second quarter has been all Penn State ball, and to see how the game started, to see where it is now, not even at halftime yet, is exciting and definitely a plus for these Nittany Lions.
Look, Penn State's got the big win at Cornell, who's #1 in the country. Maybe the best win of any team this season, where they rallied late, 4 goals in the final 2.5 minutes to force overtime and win. It still felt like Penn State fans were waiting for everything to come together over the course of one game. And at least so far in the first half, we have seen that.
Yes, we've talked about it on the Mitchell Pelkey Lacrosse Show. Penn State is one of the most unknown great top 10 teams this season. They're great, but they don't have that really marquee guy besides Trainer. And the same aspect of they're so underrated this year. You know, taking teams to the wire, losing to great teams. And it seems like that's been Penn State's rally in the past couple years.
Mitchell with a shameless plug for his show right there.
Had to snip it
Had to get it in. But if this Penn State team, with all the veterans they have in offensive talent, Jack Frassian in the cage, Final Four caliber team, seeing them at their best so far tonight. Shot clock under 20 for Rutgers, trailing by 7. Blitzed on the road so far. Easily intercepted by Alex Ross.
And that's what we've been seeing all night out of Rutgers. This game could be a lot different if Rutgers made the simple things. I would love to see the turnovers that these guys have right now, because I think it's at 10 right now. Turnovers 10, Rutgers 10, Penn State 6. You see that, that's really going to be the deciding factor, and that's why Penn State's leading in this one.
And Rutgers coming off 25 turnovers. Most they've had all season against Michigan, just not clean enough on the perimeter.
10 turnovers in the first half is wild. It's hard to get back when you have that many turnovers, and this second half is going to have to be big for the Knights.
Just trying to chip into it, make it manageable going into halftime, while Penn State's looking to put the nail in the coffin, the final 4:15 of the second quarter. Trainer spinning. Got it across the way for Matthews. Could not get his hands free. And up top it goes to Wallstrom. Approaching 15 on the timer. And over the head of Will Peden, who was not pleased with the pass.
Not pleased at all. And now Rutgers is charging.
We've seen Rutgers hold Maryland to 6 goals, Michigan to 8 goals, a top 10 defense in the country. And the offense hasn't helped the defense tonight. That's a big part of the story, but still, what Penn State is doing is so impressive.
It comes down to me, the turnovers with Rutgers. If they can limit the turnovers, maybe play a little bit better on the defensive side, they're still in this game, but obviously it's not how it's panned out here in the first half.
Tordillo with just 1 goal tonight. Coming up, his first Big Ten regular season hat trick against Michigan. Downhill for Kelly. A lot of contact, bodies down, but no whistle, still with Rutgers. Logan Peters trying to roll it back, and Ross with 2 big checks. Peters hangs on. Shot clock late again. Murphy trying to initiate, and the bouncer skips wide.
Those are some big boy checks from Alex Ross. Laying into Peters. It seems like in this possession, the Scarlet Knights can't get anything going.
And they barely have any time left with 6. Jack Frassian cut off the angle from Cardilla. Rutgers with 1 second. It'll probably be a corner lob here. Jeff Tambroni said senior day could go one of a couple ways. That emotion could become a distraction or give you an immense amount of purpose and help you focus more. Seems like the latter.
Definitely a lot of focus. I think with the packed fans, they know this is obviously senior night, last home game. These are the potential aspects that really is locking these guys. And we talked to Tambroni as well. Not the biggest fan of night games on Fridays. A lot of downtime, but obviously not a big factor here tonight.
He wants to get up and play. Too much time to kill. That's why he reads in the morning. Lehman had his pass swatted down, but gets it back. Now the stick is down. And a quick whistle before Rutgers could get on the charge.
That could have been something special there. The ball movement out of Penn State has looked excellent tonight. And really things kind of party starting off Kyle Lehman.
He initiated so much of the offense, even without the big numbers in the win at Michigan. And talking about how the season could have turned for Penn State, you look back to the fourth quarter against Michigan, where they were down by 1. Already 0-2 in the Big Ten, easily could have lost that game and let it get away. Instead, they outscore Michigan 5-1, and everything has changed since then. Rutgers timeout with 1:14 to go. Trying to get a last-minute goal and pick up some semblance of momentum going into halftime. Final weekend of the Big Ten regular season. And let's check out the standings. A lot of different scenarios to roll
into the tournament. Ohio State wasn't. For RPI based, and there's been some people to have some different words on if they like the RPI or if they don't, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Heavily used in the selection process, and Penn State in an awesome position right now to be a top 8 seed and host a first-round game in the NCAA tournament. A minute to go here in the second quarter. And Penn State rolling, outscoring Rutgers 4-0 in the second, led 6-3 after the first. Colin Kelly with a deep shot and the backup from Cardilla. A lot of low percentage looks for Rutgers today on the offensive end.
Seems like they've been forcing it. Going down by this much in the first half, they're trying to tick back. And forcing shots comes with this score. They need to get great looks.
Kelly turning, and Frassian might have steered it away. Did not touch Frassian, out of bounds off Rutgers to Penn State with 31 seconds. Frassian with his first career goal tonight. And it looks like Rutgers has abandoned the 10-man ride that cost him a couple of times here in the first half.
Definitely abandoned it, and now with 17 seconds left, they're definitely going to want to get the last goal before half.
Let's see if they can do it. Turning flip is out of bounds with 8.4. And a timeout taken, looks like by Penn State, yes. Good hustle from Matthews to make sure Penn State kept the ball. Big Ten men's lacrosse tournament. Quarterfinals next weekend. And Brian Brecht listening in as Rutgers talks about this final defensive possession of the first half. Jimmy Ryan leading the huddle, the defensive coordinator. Not what Brian Brecht envisioned over the first 30 minutes, and exactly what Jeff Tambroni had in mind. 8.4 seconds. What's Penn State looking to do here?
Penn State's either looking to dodge right from X and make something happen, or I could see a little bit of a stall, some pick play on high crease to feed in the inside and put the ball in the back of the net. The timeout this late is an interesting call.
8 seconds, not much time. Trainer. Straight away, Lehman spinning. And it won't go. But 10 goals in the first half for Penn State. They had their first goalie goal from Frasian since 2008. And Penn State in fantastic position to win a 4th consecutive over Rutgers. And awarded to Rutgers on the faceoff. They'll have the first possession. It starts there, winning faceoffs, just getting the ball.
What we saw in the first half, momentum was everything. Baldwin scoring that second one, really what we call a juice goal. And Rutgers needs a little bit of momentum on their side.
We talked about the face-off battle coming in, and these are the top 2 face-off teams in the league with Baldwin and Pilato. And Penn State so far has been actually trailing Rutgers in face-offs. 10 out of 16 for Rutgers, but too many turnovers when Rutgers has ended up getting the ball.
The turnover stat's a little bit shocking. You watch the first half of this game, and they're a little bit different. And another goal and a shot, and Frasian with another save.
And that was dangerous there with Zeller picking up the rebound. And O'Connor stumbling, all kinds of time and space, no problem there on the clear.
If I'm Tambroni and I'm talking to this Penn State office, I'm saying, hey, every possession we take in this second half, we're going deep into the shot clock. That's what we need. We need to make Rutgers play our Nittany Lion lacrosse. And if they can do that, they can solidify this win.
Now, as we talked about earlier, sometimes when you have a big lead, that can throw you out of rhythm because they were flying up and down in the first half. So we'll see if that changes things as they slow it down here in the second. Curling Lehman, 2 goals to lead the way for Penn State in the first half. Wallstrom from X. Oh, he got pounded and lost the ball. Great check from Rutgers. And now on the move with Youngerkiss. Youngerkiss, the Princeton transfer. Handful of ground balls in the first half. Very active for Rutgers, especially in the first quarter. Cardillo's got Ross on him. And a switch. Kevin Parnham now defending Cardillo, the top attack option for Rutgers. Zeller with it up top. Zeller with a bouncer that goes wide to Frasian again. A lot of shots like that from Rutgers in the first half.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of shots Frasian's seen, he's even had to react to. They haven't really been on cage.
8 saves for Frasian to this point, but most of them felt easy.
8 saves out of 24 shots. That is not a great shooting percentage on cage.
And the shot clock to 20 for Cardillo. Ross cut off his angle. Now it's Richmond. Defended by Aldridge. Richmond with the dodge, and Aldridge took it away.
Any shorty inverting, that's the mistake you don't want to make. Bringing that stick low and below your knees, the defender is always there to swipe down, and that's obviously what we saw.
Again, plenty of mistakes like that from Rutgers on the offensive end that have just buried them, despite winning the face-off battle and the shot tally so far. Well, Penn State has gotten off to a much calmer start here in the third as Lehman misses high.
Rutgers needs to capitalize on this. And we see this as he tries to swipe below, and there it is. It's simple. You got to fake the swipe, hit the swim move, or even hit a little spin move.
Wallstrom will wait there all day. And Lehman never got to it. Finally picked up by Card and Stoller. despite tonight, Stoller has had a really nice season. Coming off a Big Ten Freshman of the Year campaign. 9th in the country in goals allowed average and 7th in save percentage. Right in the mix for one of the best goalies in the Big Ten.
Definitely. Big Ten Conference as a whole, you have Logan McDaniel with Maryland, Big Tasty with Ohio State. A stacked goalie class this year in the Big Ten Conference.
Maybe not the best, but who's impressed you the most among that group this year?
I think Big Tasty, a guy that's came into his own. We obviously saw the pivotal plays he's had last year, but to what Big Tasty has done for that Ohio State team, if you don't have Big Tasty in net for the Buckeyes this year, who says the Buckeyes are top 10 in the country?
And Caleb Fyack in the cage, all 297 of him.
Shedded a couple pounds, though. Shedded a couple pounds.
What's it down to?
I have no idea.
Either way, an awesome athlete and an outstanding watch and personality. Can't wait to see him in action against the Wolverines tomorrow. Lehman with the spin cycle, and the turning shot goes right. Stays with Penn State, despite hustle from Younger Kiss. Lehman's been aggressive all night.
Lehman's the type of player that I think we will be having major, potentially Tour-Ton conversations in the next 2 years. He has that ability.
Off the side of the pipe. And it bounces out of bounds to Rutgers. So you think Lehman has that type of talent level?
Definitely. In this playmaking that Tambroni has in this offense, it's special. And you obviously see him coming into one of his own, having a leader like Matt Traynor, who else to learn better than potentially the Big Ten Player of the Year this year.
Yep, as Traynor steps out, who's going to step up? Certainly could be Lehman, playing outstanding lacrosse recently. And there's another turnover for Rutgers. Barely got it across in time with a clear, and then they give it away.
Seems like that's been what we've been seeing all night. Rutgers tries to clear, turn it over. Penn State brings it back into their side of play, drained clock, and obviously putting the ball in the back of the net more than Rutgers.
Also give some credit to Penn State here, too. They cause over 10 turnovers per game, which is top 10 in the country. Duracco going against Dean Scalamandre. Around the pick from Traynor. And it looked like either a hold or a moving pick on Traynor there. Reminder, we've got Hopkins and Maryland, 128th edition of the rivalry, coming up after this one. Never know what's going to happen in that game.
You don't. Obviously, with the trajectory Maryland's had this season, and Hopkins, it's the same thing like Army, Navy, Ohio State, Michigan. You throw the records out and you play the game.
And we'll talk about this more tomorrow, but did you feel that going into your rivalry game against Michigan every year?
Definitely. At Ohio State, we don't say that word. It's the team up north. We had the countdown in our locker room. That week was intensified. Everyone knew it was the biggest week. And even around the athletic department, everybody, professors and whatnot, they would say, hey, go beat that team up north.
And Frassian makes another save. His 9th of the night. No issues for Aldridge on the clear. Penn State will settle in. No goals so far here in the third quarter. After Penn State dropped 10 in the first half. Their second most in a half this year.
The quarter already halfway through has been flying by, and we've obviously seen Penn State long into their possessions. They're making Rutgers play the way they want to play. Obviously being up 7 into the third quarter, they're playing deep into every shot clock.
There's Amon, had 1 goal against his former team in the first half. Just missed out on a second. Again, Penn State just understanding the game, willing to sacrifice some of their offensive flow perhaps for the sake of wasting time, understanding where they're at. And got another foul coming on Penn State. Reminder, the Big Ten tournament will be hosted by Michigan this year. Now, Michigan did not participate the last time it was in Ann Arbor in 2018 because it was a 14 field. Expanded to every team in the league this year, all 6. So even off a performance like this, as Younger Kiss spins and feeds behind the cage, Rutgers still has the same chance everybody else does going into next weekend.
I think that's a blessing for teams like Rutgers, for teams like Hopkins that get the automatic bid and have the ability to still get the at-large when they know they won't get it from a seeding perspective.
Saw that from Michigan the last couple of years. 2 and 3 in the Big Ten, the 4 seed, going back-to-back in the tournament, just catching fire at the right time.
One team you do not down early May is Michigan.
Justin Lawler goes for Casey Mongillo. Only 5 to go for number 5. Mongillo's hounded. Mongillo just tucks it to the corner. Now the Penn State defense is going to work here in the second half.
You hear the crowd, a lockdown possession for the Nittany Lions. They are absolutely owning this second half, making Rutgers play their style deep into the shot clocks, wasting time because they want to walk out here with the W.
Another clean clear for the Nittany Lions, looking confident with Parner with the controls. Now, Penn State has held its last 2 opponents, Michigan and Hopkins, under 10 goals. So we talk about the 10 goals in the first half, the offensive numbers, rightfully so for Penn State. But don't overlook how good this defense has been in recent weeks as well. Dodging off the pick. Lehman. Peden. Ooh, tried to go no look. Flag flies. Intended receiver there was Matthews. And we'll see. Perhaps a slash.
Gets him a little high. Could kind of go both ways. Obviously playing it safe here with the flag. But let's see. First man up of the day for Penn State.
A 1-minute penalty. Second man up chance. And Traynor tried to go low to high. It was a 30-second penalty in the first half that Penn State capitalized on, and the top man up offense in the league scoring at 43%. We'll try to do it again. Long. Never got to Stoller. And taken away by Rutgers and Ben Stefanos. Out of bounds, staying with Penn State, 27 seconds to go. Lacrosse on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And the juice was there for Penn State in the first half with 10 goals, scoreless for both teams here so far in the second. 25 seconds remaining after the Rutgers timeout and the extra man opportunity for Penn State. 1 for 1 so far tonight. Traynor looking for his second goal still. And Matthews could not capitalize. 12 seconds left for the Nittany Lions. Amon skips to Long. Traynor. Amon. And Stoller got it. Again, if Rutgers could get a couple of goals at the end of the third, going into the fourth, they would have the potential to make it tight down the stretch, but there has just been nothing for them on the offensive end, even without Penn State scoring.
The pattern for Rutgers this game is they haven't got anything really going. Penn State scores 1 or 2, then Rutgers, then Penn State scores 3 or 4, then back to Rutgers. They need to get some sort of momentum going if they want to claw back here.
That was a higher quality look with the turn-in shot from Zeller, but Frassian had the body save.
Frassian's been playing great. This offense has been playing Tambroni's style. And this is what it takes. This is why Penn State's ranked 7th in the nation. They play their lacrosse.
And they got away from that for a couple of weeks with losses to 2 very good teams, Ohio State and Maryland. Jeff Tambroni said they just weren't making enough unselfish plays. Over the top of Lehman with the pass just outside of the crease. And back to Rutgers off the turnover. Not that they were being unselfish as a team, but they needed more unselfish plays. And that long bus ride up to Michigan, 6 hours from State College, and that fourth quarter turnaround might have turned the whole season around.
Definitely. It's been exciting to see what these guys have done, and I think at the end of the day, it's a whole different season when you get into Big Ten play. It's a whole different conference. Throw the records out, and it's essentially the second half, the start over point to your season.
Was it easy to reset for you when conference play came around, or did it take a big win to pick up momentum in conference?
It was definitely easy to reset. I think the biggest aspect was you just knew how much more these wins mattered for you and your team, RPI and conference related. And especially where you have these out-of-conference games, and then the second half of the season, you're playing a Rutgers, a Penn State, a Michigan. Every game, there's no time to rest.
A little bit of trouble with the clear, but a clear indeed for Brendan Leary. Yeah, no rest indeed. Talking to various coaches throughout the week, they all seemed exhausted, and rightfully so.
This is that point in the year, you're grinding week in, week out. The team needs to stay healthy if your team wants to succeed and go long in May.
13 seconds left in the quarter. And long, goes long. 10 seconds remaining. Back comes Wallstrom off the long pick. 2-man game. Long ducks inside, nearly scooped it home. And only 2.5 remaining for the Nittany Lions. Whistle blows. Opposite of the first half, there were no goals in the third quarter, but the story was Penn State's defense limiting Rutgers. Penn State taking over the shot total and 15 minutes away from securing a home game in the Big Ten tournament at the very... Coming up, Johns Hopkins and Maryland renew one of the sport's great rivalries. Next, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. 128th version of Hopkins and Maryland dating back to 1895. I think Mark Dixon was on that 1895 team for Hopkins. What's at stake tonight? Penn State, if they do hold on to win, up 10-3 going to the fourth, they would clinch a top 4 seed. And they would clinch the number 2 seed with losses from Maryland and Michigan. Now with Hopkins being 0-4, that Maryland loss, especially with Maryland being at home, looks a little bit unlikely, but still would clinch a top 4 seed. While Rutgers has a long way to go to get to that number 3 seed. Panzer Stadium's been rocking tonight. Awesome crowd in central Pennsylvania. And thanks for joining us here on Big Ten Network. Jack Kaiser with former Buckeye Mitchell Pelkey. Of course, the offense impressed for Penn State in the first half, but can't ignore the defensive effort for Penn State, continuing their complete performance tonight.
It's been locked down. Jack Frassian playing exceptional in net, and also with the defense. They've been locked down, and it's going to continue to show the rest of this game.
A swarm of Scarlet Knights takes it away. And the ground ball somehow scooped up by Scalamandre. He lost it. Wallstrom got it. And somehow Stoller made the save. One-on-one. What a save for Stoller.
What a save by Carlin Stoller. There's a reason he's on the Toraton watch list with plays like that. And capitalizing is what Rutgers needs to do here off a little bit of momentum Carlin Stoller just gave them.
Look, not his best night, not the defense's best night for Rutgers, but still competing. And you saw that over the first possession here in the fourth quarter. Coming in as a top 10 defense in the country. Just a little out of character and not helped out by the offensive turnovers in the first half. A little bit crisper with the ball movement for Rutgers here. Around the perimeter still. Dodge for Summer. Leary's on him. Summer, no dodge with the shorty. 10 seconds. Turn back for Cardilla. Zeller from deep strikes. The first goal of the second half goes to Rutgers in the fourth, and Colin Zeller.
Zeller with a pure stroke is what Rutgers needs to continue to inch back into this game, one after the other. But an absolute fantastic stroke here, the high to low. This is fundamental, what you learn in the backyard with Pop's coaching you. High to low bouncer, you gotta love it. And you see Francion telling his teammates, that's on me. The high bouncer, a classic in the sport of lacrosse.
Is that your favorite shot?
That was my favorite shot. Have I had any in college? No. We tried to do the oohs and ahs with the corners, but I was a shifty guy. I was shooting right on top of the crease.
First goal in a long time for Rutgers. You saw it. And Zeller, with his 12th of the season, a ton of athletic ability for him. And made the shift from short stick D-midi to more of an attacking role this year. And Francion eyes that one well for the save. John King on the run now. John King has 3 cups of coffee before every game, and he looked like it with the way he was sprinting across midfield.
3 cups of coffee is electric.
I assume it's not decaf either.
The off-the-bus coffee with your guys is something special. It's one of those you had to be there playing college lacrosse moments.
So it sounds like you had coffee with your teammates coming off.
I was a big coffee guy.
Okay.
After the breakfast, get a coffee with your guys, kind of milk that thing until you get off the bus.
Duraco shoots high. Penn State will keep it. Yeah, we talked to a lot of players throughout the season, and pre-game trips to the coffee house seems like a pretty common team bonding activity.
Definitely. It flushes the system, gets your mind ready for the match. It's essential.
Someone's supposed to stay, and Wallstrom flips it out top. 11 minutes left in the game. No goals for Penn State here in the second half after 10 in the first. And with the shot clock winding down, a throw to the corner. Rutgers forces the shot clock violation. So again, even if they don't come all the way back to win, Rutgers will be guaranteed to have a game in the Big Ten tournament next week and trying to find some momentum going into that game.
And that's the bid with the league. Each team gets in. Obviously, we know Hopkins has a huge game tonight, but has the potential to go winless in Big Ten play, but will get the 6th seed and have to inch back to potentially win the league to get the at-large in the tournament.
Preseason favorite Hopkins, and it just hasn't gone their way this year. Dealt with injuries, and the league around them has just been able to step up their game as well. Meanwhile, if Rutgers loses tonight, they still could host a quarterfinal game. But they need a Maryland loss to do so against Hopkins.
Gotta love the factors involved with Big Ten conference play. The this versus that, the wins versus losses, it's special. And it just shows you why Big Ten is potentially one of the best conferences in college lacrosse.
100%, as that goes wide of Long. Back to Rutgers with under 10 to go. Long will sprint off the field. A senior out of Phoenix, Maryland, just north of Baltimore. He's on a 6-game assist streak and had a very nice career for Penn State. 14 seniors being honored tonight. And Jeff Tambroni charged the underclassmen coming into senior day with their performance as a sign of gratitude for everything the upperclassmen had done for them.
These underclassmen are something special on this Penn State team.
On the doorstep, Frassian makes another fantastic save. And in the crease, he is able to pick it up. 2 saves in a row for Frassian. What you were saying, Mitchell?
The underclassmen on this team are special. Some of the sophomores getting taught by their leaders like Jack Posey, Grant Hoss, and TJ Malone. And now having leaders like Matt Trainer, Ethan Long. It's something special to be on a team with older classmen like that, to be able to learn from greats.
It's a tight group. And it seems like they've got the right leadership in place, peaking at the right time, looking for a 3rd straight win. Let's go to the Creamery. No need for coffee.
I love that. The Penn State Creamery, a classic up there in Penn State.
Anything like that, Columbus, ice cream wise?
We had Buckeye Donuts.
Okay.
Legendary place.
I'll have to hit that up next time. I'm a big donut guy.
I love that.
Switch on to Trainer from Scalamandre. Trainer had 1 goal in the first half. No goals for Penn State still in the second half. Just called a timeout. And continuing to eat clock comfortably in front of Rutgers. Looking for a 4th straight win over the Scarlet Knights. Peden. Matthews could not get the bounce. Still with Penn State. Effort. Ground ball. Lehman near it. And a flip behind the back on the run from McKelvey. Koulis, extra feed. Frassian somehow got it with his shoulder. A pinball sequence that ends up back to Penn State.
What a save by Jack Frassian. Off that left shoulder, I thought they were going to ping the corner there. But Jack coming in with a fantastic save. And again, ball's back with Penn State. A 60-second shot clock. This is exactly what they want.
And Frassian, keep in mind, this guy's a 2-time All-American. He led the nation in saves a couple of years ago. You can't just look at the numbers this year for Frassian, which are still solid, and judge him based on that. He's played much better the last couple of weeks. And when he's confident and dialed in, no doubt one of the best goalies in the country. There's Penn State's first of the second half. A little wall ball from Wallstrom to make it 11-4.
Lehman with the assists, Wallstrom with the goal. And it all starts, look at that, right in the collarbone area. Jack with an amazing save, starting the play down the defensive end. And Kyle Lehman, we've seen it all night. Dodging this head up. Wallstrom going across the crease, putting it low. And just another one, the first for the Nittany Lions this half. 11-4, Penn State goes up.
A lot of space there for Lehman after the switch from Rutgers, and Wallstrom in perfect position. It's been a while since they've scored, but they had 10 goals leading up to that point, so they could afford to eat the clock. Looking for a face-off win, and they've got it. 2 goals for Wallstrom today, the senior out of Newtown, Pennsylvania, Council Rock North High School north of Philly. And Jack Amone looks like he'll get the last laugh against his old team tonight.
I can only imagine what he's hearing on the field from his previous team.
It's just the way it goes, right?
It's just the way it goes. And at the end of the day, I always say lax guys are lax guys. It's the beauty of the sport.
That can mean a lot of different things, but I think based on the context, we can figure it out.
Yep.
Back to Wallstrom here, maybe a hat trick in store. Not for the moment. Aquino coming over to set the pick. Trainer could not get it by Stoller. Cardillo's been very quiet here in the second half. Even with just one goal in the first, was still firing shots. Penn State has flipped the shot total pretty significantly here in the second half. Now up 37-31. Zeller spinning, has a goal tonight. Over to Kelly, consensus best pure shooter on the team, Colin Kelly. And another turnover for Rutgers. That is the 19th of the day.
That's been the pattern for the Scarlet Knights this evening. Started out at the beginning of the game. The ball was bouncing all over the fields, and it really hasn't gotten away. And you see the turnovers, 19 to Penn State 16. That's what it comes down to. This late in the year, these little things should be buttoned up.
We talked about the concern for Penn State being buttoned up against Rutgers because they tend to bring teams into a sloppy game, but Penn State even thrived there in the first half. Got a stick down, Duraco trying to take advantage, and Beaton is pounded. Penn State settles in. Whatever style Penn State had to play tonight, they were able to have success.
They found that success, and I think that goes to Coach Tambroni, the credit to not pump the guys' tires coming out of half, playing steady Penn State ball, long possessions. Let's not force anything to solidify the W.
Nice shot from Matthews. And a timeout for Rutgers with just over 4 to go here in the fourth quarter. The first of 2 tonight out of 3 games over the final weekend of the regular season. Coming up, Johns Hopkins, Maryland, renewing one of the sport's great rivalries, next only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Maryland with a 13-8 big-time win at Ohio State. Led 11-3 in that game on the road in Columbus. And Hopkins with a win over Maryland 7-5 last year. We'll see if they can pull off the upset later on tonight, as Hopkins is 0-4 in the league. We know they're the 6th seed going into the Big Ten tournament. Rutgers, if they do lose tonight, it looks like that'll be the case. They'll be the 4 or the 5. And Ohio State, Michigan tomorrow night will add to the variety of scenarios, but the winner of that one will have the top seed. And what a story it would be from Michigan's perspective, hosting the Big Ten tournament, picked to finish 4th, trying to three-peat, and getting to play at home as the top seed if they do win tomorrow night.
It could be surprising, but I think the more interesting story is the Buckeyes not even in the top 5 to potentially win the tournament at Michigan when Michigan won the tournament in Columbus last year. A lot of question marks this year, and a lot of aspects of the NCAA tournament are going to be decided tomorrow and then obviously next weekend.
And that's the other factor for both Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan a little bit behind Ohio State in the RPI at 13. So they're right on the bubble. And a win over a top 10 Ohio State team, even with it being at home, it gives Michigan a little bit more margin for error going into the Big Ten tournament as far as a potential NCAA bid.
Definitely. Michigan wants to play Ohio State, and Ohio State wants to play Michigan. That's why it's called the game. The rivalry is going to be very competitive tomorrow. And we talked with Coach Connery, Coach Myers at Ohio State. Both teams want to win bad.
Locked in for that one, and we cannot wait for it at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central on Big Ten Network tomorrow. Mitchell and I will be with you. Hopkins, Maryland coming up after this tonight. Under 4 to go. Senior day for Penn State. 14 seniors honored. And we'll go out on a high note unless something drastic changes. Matthews got no help from the pipe, and 11 to 4 still. These two played for the first time back in 1950. It was 11-6 Rutgers win. That was before men's college lacrosse was an NCAA sport, which was enacted in 1971. So much history among schools across the conference, and then you have the new program in Michigan being formed in 2012.
You gotta love a little history fact from Jack Kaiser. You a history major at Ball State?
Oh no, that would have been a disaster. One class freshman year, that's all it took. But no, it's cool to see the ranging histories and program experiences from a Michigan to a Hopkins. It's the most historic program in college lacrosse. Get a little bit of everything in the Big Ten. Tend to shoot here for Rutgers. Richmond, a little bit of space, but Frassian makes another save, his 13th. Oh, and Koulis sends him tumbling.
Okay, let's go, cookies.
What a day it's been for Frassian. 13 saves and got his first career goal.
Senior night as well. He's been looking great, and man, this Penn State team has been dominating this whole entire game.
If Frassian's playing well and the offense plays like it did in the first half, Penn State can beat anybody. And Parnham able to scoop it up. Under 2 minutes left. Penn State is going to win its 3rd consecutive game to close out the regular season and move to 9-3. And lock up a home game in the first round. Could potentially be the 2 seed if they get some help from Hopkins.
Penn State will be locked in on that Maryland-Hopkins game next to figure out what that atmosphere is going to be, and another one for Penn State.
Little icing on the cake from Liam Matthews, the sophomore. 8-game point streak for him. 12-4. Penn State's day, the entire day.
A little low to high to seal it. Matthews and his teammates celebrating. Maybe talking about the ice cream flavor they're going to have after this. This one scoop.
That's got to be a thing, right? Going to the creamery after a big win.
It's got to be tradition with the fellas.
Next time you tour the lacrosse facility, make sure to ask that question. And a face-off win. But a turnover. Had the chance to run it out. Rutgers with it. A lot of momentum built by Penn State with 10 different goal scorers tonight going into the postseason. Best time of the year in college lacrosse. Rutgers, that's been the story of their night on the offensive end with their 21st turnover. And we'll see how it all plays out with Hopkins and Maryland getting ready to start in College Park. One thing we do know is we don't know anything about the postseason. Rutgers could come back and beat anybody next week. They've shown they can beat Maryland already in the regular season.
The Big Ten's really wide open, and we're going to see that Obviously, Penn State clinches this win. Their odds look great, but a lot of the factors happening tonight with Penn State, Maryland. The game tomorrow, Ohio State, Michigan. It's going to be exciting to see.
Fun weekend and a bright spot for Penn State fans to start it. They know they aren't going on the road, and they could potentially have a bye depending on how the other games play out. Maybe the most complete game of the season for Penn State on Senior Day. Wrapping up the regular season with a 12-4 victory for the Friendship Cup over Rutgers to clinch a top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament. This Penn State team is royally dangerous.
They look good. They look special. What's big and is underrated, and maybe not thinking about this as a college lacrosse fan, but they're peaking at the right time. They're playing great lacrosse at the right time. Next week and the following with the Big Ten tournament are going to be so important for the trajectory of how these guys play in the NCAA tournament.
So you can see Jack Frassian getting ready to join us here with Penn State handing Rutgers